Good. Yeah. Very. I can't swear at anything because it's gone everywhere. It's just a little bit anxious.
Hi guys, thanks very much for giving up your evening to join us in the first In Conversation with evening. The concept of this came about because obviously, as you all know, we've done a lot of inspiration evenings over the years, and we've done models, and I was thinking of a way how we can freshen it up this year. And what I always find is, it's great to see a technique, and it's great to see a haircut or dressing or something like that, but we're all quite skilled in that ourselves. And I think sometimes what you want to get out of these evenings is inspiration, and it's like something that's going to fire you up on the way home. And I think sometimes you can go and watch hair shows or things like that, and there's been like a big drop off in people attending hair shows or seminars because you can pick up your phone and get education on your phone in the palm of your hand, and you can watch any haircut or any technique that you want to see. And I think sometimes you can come to an event like this not to learn something, but to be reminded of something, and to be reminded of the reason that you first started in hairdressing, or be reminded of the reason you first wanted to do a shoot or a show, or you may be at the start of your career and you don't even know how to attend something like that. So over the next year, of 2019, I'm going to be doing every other month. I'm going to be having different people each time. We've got filmmakers, clothes designers, photographers, artists, anyone that I feel will have an interesting outlook and an interesting approach to their craft that hopefully someone in this room can take something away from. So tonight, the inaugural guest of the In Conversation with the evening is Mr. Ian Carmichael. This came around because in the last few years I've got to know Ian quite well, and knowing Ian as well as I do now, I've been so interested in finding, every time I speak to him and we talk about his career, I find out something else that I didn't know. And the things that he's done and the unique roles he's held along the way, different to any other hairdresser I've ever met or spoke to, I think has certainly inspired and informed me. And I felt like he was the perfect person to start this event, because he hasn't gone down one avenue and just focused on that. He's spread out into different things and always pushed himself and achieved high accolades in each aspect. So I think whatever you're into, any aspect of hairdressing in this room, you're going to get something from this thing. So it made it the perfect guest to start this evening. So with that said, let's go back to the beginning and when you first began your journey in hairdressing.
Oh my God, let's go back about 100 years. Let me just first say thanks very much for turning up today, and thank you very much for me being your inaugural, if that's what you call it. I feel like I'm on a cruise ship, an inaugural cruise, yeah, with you. Maybe that's what we should call it, a cruise with Ian, yeah. Cruising with Ian, why not? Yeah, and it sounds more at home than me than talking about me. I'm going to find this difficult talking about me because I'm sure Trevor can be Scottish and Tom being Northern and whatever it may be. It's very difficult to try and talk about you. I've been brought up in an environment where you don't blow your own trumpet, you don't get above your own station, you behave yourself and stop drawing attention to yourself and all the usual nice things. Then all of a sudden I've had to sit here for an hour and talk about me. I'm finding this really, really quite hard. So what I want to try and do is hopefully, maybe through my little bit of journey, maybe try and inspire some people who might have maybe felt that they've lost their mojo somewhere, or they maybe feel that, is this the place it should be? Or maybe just so you're kind of going through the same kind of experiences, maybe right now, that I went through as well. Because I never got through here today out of just plain and utter sailing. Believe me, there was a few frustrations along the way as well. And I've learned an awful lot, an awful lot. And believe it or not, the 42 years of hairdressing that I've done up until now scares the living daylights out of me. When Tom says to me, could you go back to the beginning and then take me through some of the stages of where you've been at? When I spent the last week or so going back to the beginning, the time I got halfway through, I was knackered. I wonder why I'm still alive. Because how I ever managed to do what I did on both all those cruise ships, how I ever managed to do, the half of the stuff, and sometimes my drunken oblivion, sometimes my 4 hours sleep, and sometimes my no sleep. and how I managed to keep myself so productive all the way. But I want to try and take you back to the very, very beginning and let you give you an understanding of where I come from. I come from a real working class background. I come from a family with little expectations, but really hard working background. My father was a miner, my mother was a mill worker. Together, as far as they were concerned, if I kept the police away from the door, I was a good boy. Yeah, that was it. Right? Nothing more, nothing about progression. And as far as my father was concerned, I had to stick it at school and I had to get myself a trade. Because if I get a trade, you can go anywhere. You can do odds. I think he thought the trade was going to be a joiner, an electrician, that type of thing, a plumber even, Didn't think the trade that I was thinking of was making people pretty, playing the dollies and getting all women looking lovely. But what I did was, unbelievably, when I think back, 14 going on 15, I put my best clothes on, like in my only outfit, and I took myself on the bus to go into Francis Hunter's shop, which was this hour, right? And I decided I wanted to be a hairdresser. So I went in, and at that time, you didn't have CVs, In fact, I couldn't even say career from Beaton then. All I could just say was, is the manager in? I'm here for a job. Do you need anybody? And that's kind of what it was like. You went to the reception, is the manager in? I wanted a hairdresser. Oh, she's not in today. She's over at the other shop. I went, well, I'll go on the bus to the other shop, but could you telephone her and tell her I'm on my way over? I was 15. Forward little bugger. So I went over, and that was it. I went in there, and I waited, and she says, yeah, I heard that you were coming over. She says, I heard you were coming over. And she went, coming in Saturday, see how you get on, and we'll take it from there. That was it. So that was the summer holidays of 1975.
What made you think of hairdressing? Had you seen anyone else in your family or anyone else?
What made it be? And I don't know if this is anything to do with my sexuality or if it's anything to do with the fact it's certainly not to do with my upbringing. Because, I came from a very basic house, a clean house, but a very basic house. But I always seen prettiness in everything. I always wanted my mum to look pretty. I always wanted to have her makeup on. If I was entertaining or singing in the school choir, playing the recorder, the violin, anything for attention, right? I had to make sure my mum was coming with the best coat on, and she had full makeup on, and make sure that her hair was on, because that was important. When my mother used to go to the working men's club, I used to polish his shoes and make sure he was nice, and that was him going out. For some reason, maybe I've always thought myself a wee cut above. If you want to call it that way. I'm sure my mother was cut above. But no, I've always wanted people to look nice. And I've been brought up with the word nice. I've been brought up with my sister saying, my mother, you look nice, that's nice, or isn't that nice? Or she looks nice today. So I've been brought up with this nice. And this nice to me means something beautiful, something that can make people look nice. I'm doing a nice thing. If that makes sense. Yeah. And so that's kind of what it was. And so when my mum used to back home and hair on a Saturday night with hairspray, my sister would be doing her thing with her dogs. And I'd be sitting watching this ginger woman transform into what I thought was Marilyn Monroe. The liquid eyeliner and the beautiful plastic makeup and the back home. And then she'd say, right, let's see if I've got any holes in the back. I was 12, filling the holes in the back of her hair. She never looked in her back, but I don't know. I was fascinated by it and used to watch her walk away. Because I knew that my mother transformed. She spent a Saturday, and a Saturday night she looked like this vision, this diva, going back to the workers' club. But she walked different, she acted different. When she was sitting with the nail varnish on, she her whole pose very different to the woman that had a roller in 4 hours ago. And I think this world of beauty and hair is something that fascinates me. And I can't stop looking at people making themselves look beautiful. And so that's how I got into it.
So when was it Francis Hunter that you got?
Yeah, she was really beautiful. No, but she was a great hairdresser.
And did you take to it straight away?
Oh my God, like a duck to water. Like an absolute duck to water. But in on a Saturday, and I could not stop watching. The hours just went. And I would say, and she did say eventually, the one compliment I ever got that she had never seen anybody like me in the environment that I was in.
What, in
Because
focus?
I just could not get enough information. I was like greedy for it. It's like as if at last this is what I wanted. But she, as far as I was concerned, was the best hairdresser in Stirling at the time. She had issues. She lived on Valium and black coffee. She never ate since 1943. Right? She hated her husband. She had 2 children that she should never have had. But she was a hairdresser. Yeah. And she, for some reason, she took me under her wing. I was petrified from the woman, petrified. And so the only way that I could communicate with that woman was to quickly switch on to try and be a step ahead of her all the time, or she would annihilate me. Because my apprenticeship was uttermost regimental fear. There was none of this, we pretended we were rinsing bowls all the time. We had the water running all the time, but to make sure we were busy. If she would annihilate it in front of staff, in front of anybody, in front of, and so you lived in fear. But my God, she was a good hairdresser. I've never seen anybody work with a razor like she has, and she was just totally and utterly focused.
So do you think that the standards that you've kind of set yourself going on to one of you, that you started with her?
If you would have cut me in half, I'm sure there's a pad of that Francis Hunter running through me. Definitely. I spent a lot of time not liking her, but I couldn't stop respecting her because she was so good at her trade, And fortunate enough for me, she made me her junior. So when she cut, I blow dried. She would start off winding her parents and I would take over. So I worked hand in hand with her. Never shampooed for no one else. I was her junior. She picked me up, she dropped me off, she did everything.
How long were you with her?
I was with her for since the age of 15 until I was 18.
And then from 18, then when you did?
Well, by that time, I was in those days. If you were good enough, you went on the floor. So I was already working on the floor for a year and a half. Yeah, because I left school at 16, and then within a year, I was working on the floor. But see, I would go in on a training night with school, my school uniform. It was a Tuesday night, with a late night on a Friday night, and I'd work on a Saturday. And I was doing that at school. So I would go in and shampoo with my shirt and tie on. My school tie on. Yeah.
So you were obsessed from a young age.
Yeah. And then she'd pay me, cash in hand.
So when you decided, what made you want to leave there then?
I left there because, why did I leave there? That's a little bit of, I don't know why I left there. I think I felt I'd done what I needed to do in there. And I left there to work for a large company because I was brainwashed to believe that if you didn't like it, there's the door. That this is the best salon you're ever going to work in. This is the best salon, and there's nothing else out there. So I was brainwashed to believe it. But then I reached 18 and I was cocky. And I thought, you know what, I can do this. So what I did was I then went and I joined SNL. Now, SNL was called Seligman and Lance. It was a South African company of hairdressing salons that were in department stores. So I went in and worked in House of Fraser. And I was the only boy amongst 10 girls, which was great. So, of course, that's a great novelty. All the women wanted me in the department store. It's a little bit like Are You Being Served, with me mincing around. But then same token as well, I was busy. I would build up a great clientele, and it was in a beautiful department store, and the salon was lovely. It was everything was all new at the time. And that's where I started to learn things like retail and budgets and things like that I'd never really understood. I never thought hairdressers done things like that. I think they just.
But you started thinking about it in more of the
Well, we were given
well.
targets and we were given training into retailing products, where unbelievably, I wasn't brought up in an environment to sell, and that's where I first got that idea. But it only lasted there for 2 or 3 years.
Did you meet your business partner?
Yeah. What had happened was Raymond McKenzie, who was my business partner, had came over to work, and me and him got on really well. There was 10 years of a difference between me and him. I had a large clientele in town. He had a large clientele in town. And then we decided we were getting tired with these budgets, and we were getting tired with these targets, and we were getting tired getting bullied around. That's basically what we thought was happening at the time. We're getting bullied with management here, So we decided what we would do is we'd go out on our own.
Open your own place?
Yeah. I was 21. What was I thinking? I thought, why not? Because I didn't have fear. And 21, I didn't have any fear. I had no fear of rejection. you know. I thought I was pretty. I thought I was the best looking guy in the town. I thought, no fear. I thought, why would it not happen to me? And we did. And we opened the salon, and it was great.
What was it called?
Blondes. Honestly, God. We used to get people, and this is just the sheer and utter fluke. There was only blondes that worked in it. But people used to phone up and just say, my hair's no blonde, but can I come in?
Yeah.
And nice. Hollywood blondes like Marilyn Monroe and all that sort of thing, up and all big brass frames and big parlour pans and gold and bronze and mirrors and things were all around. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And I was like, dancing around. I was like, oh, with my trolley. It was a great time. With a canopy outside and everything.
How long did you have that for?
I had that up until 1989. So I had it it's nearly 7 years.
Nearly 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And what did it just run its course as far as being a business?
No, it was a typical thing. But what had happened was, I was 10 years younger than Raymond. Raymond was comfortable doing what he did all the time.
You were 10 years older than him?
No. He was 10 years older than me. And so he was comfortable doing what he did all the time. And we had a big clientele of clients coming every single day. You know, and then Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays were like fully booked with boring blow dries from morning to night. The same ones, you know, if you keep them waiting 5 minutes, they're ready to take the head off your shoulders, all that usual stuff. And I just felt that my clients were taking over me. That I don't have any identity here any longer. And these clientele, you know, I wanted to not do blow dries. I wanted to only do cut and blow dries, only do my colours, my perms, my so and so, because I was losing out so much money for babysitting these boring little blow dries that anybody in the salon could have done. So I discussed it with Raymond to make the decision. We would not do blow dries, but he couldn't do it because he was a softie. So I ended up doing it. So I kind of segregated myself in the salon that everybody else seemed to think I was a cut above. But when the money started coming in and I was replacing it with colours and perms and, you know, and cutting and blow drying and getting new clients in, we kind of started to kind of go in different ways. And which happens in most partnerships. He was very comfortable and I wanted to grow. And so we were starting to clash. Today, we've just sat down and talked about it and went over it and had meetings upon meetings upon meetings. But when you're 28 and 29, you kind of take the huff and you're like, that, whatever, bored with you anyway, I'm going to leave. So I decided that I would go and be a sailor on board a cruise ship. I could smell the salt water there. I thought, here we go. I want to work on board a cruise ship, but I don't want any other ship. I only want the QV2. And this is how cocky I was at then. Maybe I'm still a bit cocky now, but I was very cocky then. I thought, I only want the QV2. So I phoned up Steiner, came all the way down the plane, down to, and I had an interview in Euston Station, at a salon in Euston. An interview there, and she says, well, what will happen is, and she says, you will work in the salon around a Steiner salon, land-based salons, where you will prove yourself. And I said, prove, what does that mean? And she says, oh, with retailing and bringing in more people. And I went, uh-huh. And how long do you think that would take? And she says, well, that can take anything from maybe 2 weeks to 2 months. But I never intended being 2 months in London. Okay, me, at an interview, I never thought of being 2 months in London. And she says, and then what we'll do is we'll find out kind of where you would be more suited to. I went, no. I went, oh, nothing, you've getting it all wrong. I came down here for an interview for the QE2. Not any other little ship or ferry, whatever you want to call it. No. I'm coming down to come on to work on the QE2. And as far as proving myself is concerned, I think I could quite easily prove myself if it's anything to do with the look in that salon there. Because I had to sit in the salon for half an hour waiting on her. And the place was just, it was just terrible. It's just the standards and so and so. And I thought, my God, I must have came from, it's from the cream of the milk. If this is how they operate in London, which I thought, this was the first London salon I'd ever been in. I thought, no. Anyway, I was even at home, and this lady, Jan Green, had says, when is it possible for you to come back down?
Well, she called you back up.
Vicky Chaperon was very impressed by your interest. And a shape for her chuck you. I don't think anybody had ever been like that. Anyway, I got the QB2.
What? And then you straight on there, and then so when you're on a ship, I'm sure most people don't know how that works. When you're on a ship like that, how long are you like at sea for?
Well, I was told that I'd be seeing the world, and I was all excited. And I was also told as well that I was to take dinner jackets on and so for formal night and damn. And then we'd be hanging out with the passengers. And so my outfits, honestly, God, you should see my outfits. Go on board there, I had everything right down to bridesmaid's dress. You name it, I had it there, yeah. And then all of a sudden, they showed me my cabin. And I went, oh, I was just told this. There was this cabin, right? I had to share with a guy called Wayne Murray. Nothing to do with him, like, he was all right. But we also had to share shower facilities with what we called the medics, who were 4 old men, right? And the shower base never drained until the end of the day. So you would go in there, right, having a shower with everybody else's scum on top. Oh, I thought I was going to take my life.
Not quite the glamour that you thought.
But I was told differently. I was told this would be this, that, so and so. Then I was on it 1 week, and then this wonderful lady called Amanda Francis came on board, who was a supervisor. She was at the head, and she spoke very, very amazing and very Manchester, and she was like, "How are your things?" I went, "Come with me, and we'll go down to my cabin, and we'll start with there." But alas, the water was still in the shower base. I'd have been hysterical if I had gone. And I went, if you just want to just take your shoes off and just stand in there. And she's looking at me as if she goes, "He for real?" And I went, I think you and I spoke in London, didn't we? You told me A, B, C, D, F, G, right? Well, that was it. Before you knew it, right? And she's like that, yes, but damn that way, yes, but no. I mean, let me tell you something about this. I've been a week in the salon here. You told me this was the cream of the milk of the industry. This was the QE2. This was your ship. This was the ship, right? Let me tell you a little bit of the truth about this. I'm humiliated and embarrassed to even working here and represent it. Because I'll tell you why, right? Because as far as I'm concerned, yeah, the wheel's turning, but the ham's dead. This is not the cream of the milk of any industry as far as I'm concerned. But give me a week and I'll get it sorted for you, right? But you need to get another cabin. You need to get another social. And I want privileges. Because see that dinner jacket and that bow tie that I bought, I can't wear that down the crew part. Right? And if I've not got a fungal infection now that's going to kill me, yeah? I mean, you're going to be sailing with me when you've got time to do it, right? Because that was it.
So you got your own cabin, you got your own...
She put the chiropodist get privileges away from her. Gave me her cabin. I didn't really know the chiropodist. A nice bit I didn't ever meet me. So they put her her stuff away, gave me her deck privileges, and that was it. And they decided they need to give me a name, so they called me art director. Because that's for a show. All for black fungal. All for that. On top of that as well, did bring the standards up.
Yeah, well, so Ian and I chatted over the last few weeks about this. You told me quite a few interesting things that I found interesting, especially when mine was progressing, like those things, business and how you could make a difference to various salon things. And you went in and seemed to shake things up straight away in the salon and raise the standards straight away.
I did that, and I don't know where I got that message from. I did it through observation, I think. You know, on the QB2, I don't know if I was a natural leader at that time. I must have been, because I was leading myself. I'd already had a salon. I was responsible of staff, and now I had to be responsible of this some of the staff on board here. So I felt like I couldn't let them down. So the whole object was to bring in revenue, but to keep the standards up high as well. And as far as I was concerned, where retail was concerned, I've always known that you cannot sell a product until you've sold yourself. I've always known that. You've always got to look at, you can't have some big fat girl trying to sell you some instrument. You can't have some big huge trying to sell you some rejuvenated facial. And I knew that. That's just natural things that's coming your way. So, but it also as well as, what I could never abide was lazy people, because I was never brought up to be lazy. And we had a lot of lazy, complacent people on board the ships that were there for too long. And this is, and I would be watching sometimes. And sometimes you sit here at a staff meeting, and I'm talking at the staff meeting, all the promises, etc. If I was standing at the train line, the lights were flashing, the rails were up, but the train was never coming. Are these people being chosen to board the
I think they got just because they thought it was a bit of part of the sector of the world, rather than being seen.
And they didn't really have a managing structure that understood it either. There was a structure. That's basically what there wasn't structure. So slowly I created a structure. The first thing was the customer not come to us, we must go to them. So I had to create demonstrations. Wake up and sell yourself. Good morning, welcome on board. We were up from back in the day. We were there, stand as they came aboard, stand by British Airways, welcome on board. Have you seen this? Yeah, they can show you this, put leaflets and so on, encourage people, leaflet drops on cabins, do VIP little hotel evenings, the cream of the milk of industry, and have little hosting.
What did you introduce all these things?
Introduce all these things. There's nothing in a leaflet. There's a product, right? California Sun Glow, right? Bronzing powder. It's made from crushed oyster shells and sort of pearl and designed to illuminate. And you send me a wonderfully glow. I'll get you some prescription. And it was meant to be suited to every single time. It came in a wonderful terracotta pot with a sable brush. Sable by that side. But anyway, $45 that thing sold for, right? It was in the cupboards. I'm going to have to make that story alive. Surely we can just play around with it and just see what we can make. We're going to make this story alive. Right? Why don't we just start applying it? Every single client comes in as a little, have you seen this? The section. And so the client then says, what is this? And then that's where the retail started to come, because these girls were not retailing. So I would go, have you seen this? What? It's called California Sun Glow. Wait till I show you that. I've got it on myself. You just have to drop on and then get what's the blush. You can use an eyeshadow on your skin. You can use what the lipstick is. But those are slightly straps that you can get from sunbathing. Put it up there as well. But comes with a sable brush that'll last you for 3 years. Now, maybe it'll last for 6 months. She may be in a coma for another 2 minutes. It worked for $45, didn't it? So that was the start of things. But where the biggest thing came from on the QE2, where my selling was concerned, is we had to sell shampoos. It was a bit boring selling just the shampoo. Do you know what I mean? To clients who didn't shampoo their own hair. Do you know what I mean? I mean, clients that we were doing on the QE2 came in, they direct to salons every week. So it's hard to sell a shampoo, especially a Steiner shampoo. Do you know what I mean? And so I was like that, oh, what can I do here? So I was into skincare. I did have lovely skin. But there was a product on the QE2. It was called Long D Cellulaire. It was made by Renegino, Dr. Renegino. Now, when I found out the story about this product, this Long D Cellulaire, it was made 56 active ingredients and 17 vitamins and a liposome former for the ability to penetrate the deep basal layer of your skin, right? It was used in burn units that he had created for burn units to heal scar tissue. Well, I was shaking with my 50% staff discount. Yeah? At that age, at that stage, I wasn't for helping myself, because it was early on, right? And so I bought it. And then I thought, you know what? We could have that on the section. I'm going to start bringing some of these products with Elizabeth Arden, not moving, and this. So I brought them on in the section. So when I'm putting the ladies' hair, the rollers in her, blow drying her hair, I went, have you seen this? I go, you've got lovely skin. What do you use? Oh, I use Elizabeth Arden, A, B, C, D, and E. You know, let me show you something that you can just pop on underneath that. It was a shampoo at that time was $10.50. This was $114. And there's no point in buying that without the cleanser and toner, is there? You're not using soap on your face, you know, with this. So if you're going to do it, you're going to do it right, aren't you? Because I would. So that's where the retail came in. So that's where Mr. Carmichael, the number on the QV2 went from, you know, my services were meant to be $1,200 a week, yeah, but my retail was $3,500 when selling Renegade.
So is this the thing that got you noticed amongst the kind of powers that be? And
remember, Steiner were a Jewish company, so money was everything. And so, and if you can make money, that's fantastic.
So this how you
and so
spread
we
out across the
recognise,
ship?
well, this is that what's this boy doing? We want that on every single cruise ship. We want him educating everybody else into what we're doing on cruise ships. This has never been done before. And that's where my education started to go on board different cruise ships.
So you had to go across the cruise ships, educate on the products, but also raise the standards,
Yeah.
the styling, the dressing, the finishing.
Yes, but it wasn't until I went on the cruise ships, because I didn't have any preparation beforehand. So it was through my encouragement on the cruise ships to see the people that had been hired on board cruise ships, that they were thrown to the lines and they needed to be trained. And they couldn't be trained on board because sometimes they didn't have anybody to train them. So that's when I did come off the cruise ships, that I created the training academies to prepare hairdressers, beauty therapists to work on board cruise ships.
As far as product knowledge, finishing, styling.
Selling themselves, selling the products, perfecting the treatments, makes they would stand up with a microphone and sell the treatment.
What did you have an academy in London?
Yeah, which I would take. So I was in charge of the whole community. I did the induction, all the trade testing, and the induction, and I also did the communications, where we prepared people, kind of mentally and physically prepared them to work on board cruise ships. We would take a shy girl, you know, and sometimes just a foreign girl who her English wasn't very good, and they would take her through stages and stages and stages where she had to speak over the microphone and just basically work on themselves so that the public speaking was quite perfect.
So where do you think that comes from, not having that? And most people would have gone into that situation, maybe complained about it a little bit and then left. But where do you think that comes from, that you spotted certain things that weren't right, but then had the kind of desire to change them and to perfect them and to raise the standards of everyone? Did it come from the first person that you worked for?
It was nurturing me. It was nurturing me that I was given a platform, but through hard work, of course. I was given a platform where I could excel, where I could be recognised, and the company was growing continually. When I first started with Steiner, we operated on 32 different cruise ships. When I left after 13 years, we were operating on 120 different cruise ships, which was now spas. So I then had to learn the holistic therapies, the fitness aspect, the so and so. Because what I would then do is take their courses, abbreviate their courses into selling words, and then they then stand up and sell themselves from something like a 3-week course to something like what I have here is this is ionothermy. Ionothermy is an anti-cellulite treatment with added benefits of insulin detoxification. It will break down fatty deposits, firm the skin, and tone the muscle. And how you do this is really, really quite simple. And so they would learn it parrot fashion. But then, by then, I had done all the courses you could ever imagine. Self-taught, and also by books. Every book you could ever imagine, from The Secret to Emotional Intelligence to How to Sell a Product to so and so to Nightingale video tapes that I would sit and listen to continual motivation, because I felt I needed these tools, because I was good at hairdressing and I was good at talking, but I didn't actually have the true tools enough to communicate. So therefore, and for everybody to understand what was coming from my mouth. Because I got all the excuses underneath the sun. The reason he can sell, the reason he's successful is because he's a boy, because he's slightly older and he's Scottish. Nothing to do with the fact that I was quite good at what I did. That was all the reason, that was all the excuses underneath the sun. And so I would then decide that what I would do is try and make people do it also, but do it for themselves.
Did you like educating?
Yes, yeah, I did. And, you know, and I liked the feedback from it. I liked the idea that she couldn't actually say a word over a microphone, and then she was breaking targets and managing shifts.
Yeah, it's quite
and then you would go on
rewarding
board, and I remember coming to training academy, and you said to me.
So, when you went off the cruise ship back on dry land, let's say working in the academy, obviously I'm sure everyone here knows you've got a pretty prestigious client. I think I'm right in I think I'm right in saying is some connection of when you ended up in that academy, how you ended up indirectly getting this client.
You know, I think I planted the seed. I think something happened in my brain, because when I joined Steiner, we had royal wands, 3 royal wands. We had royal wands for Queen Mary, we had royal wands for the Queen Mother, and also Queen Elizabeth royal wand. And behind the section that I stood at in Steiner on board the QE2, we had a great big royal wand. I have that now. That belongs to me now. It doesn't belong to Steiner, which is quite unbelievable. And I used to look at that and just that. It's nice. and it wasn't until I got in the training academy and I met Mr. Charles, who was the hairdresser.
Well, he was the Queen's hairdresser.
He was the Queen's hairdresser, and Steiner by this time had sold all the land-based salons, and Regis had bought them all over. And so he didn't have a place to work any longer. So our training academy, which was 66 Grosvenor Street, was a beautiful big house, but we did have a salon, which was an operational salon, stunning with chandeliers and everything. We would vacate the salon to allow him to come in on a Thursday to do these 2 ladies, right? And, you know, and it's a couple of weeks went on, he was like, don't. He went, he was a really quiet, unassuming man. He went, don't. He went, you stay that side of the salon. And he says, because it's quite boring, it's a big salon, it's only me and 2 ladies. He says, my clients quite like the atmosphere of what's all going on with you training and the girls and all that. And I would train on the day that he was in, hair up. And glamorous, back combing and big hair and just making hair do what it doesn't normally do, which was expected on board cruise ships. Working real glamorous work, working a lot with curling irons and really, you know, distorting the hair and making it big. And he would watch me do that. Now, what I didn't realise was what he was watching was my form of hairdressing. I didn't know it was called form, that finish, that flick and that wave that you do. I didn't realise it was called form. But he had complimented me on my form of hairdressing. And so when he was due to retire, he mentioned me to the Queen and says, there's a gentleman, who's a boy, he told me, there's a boy in Steiner who I'm more than, I'm 100% sure he could easily take over after him. And I didn't know this, and he didn't tell me that either, until one day in the training academy, I was doing my thing, and I got a call from our head office to say, see, tomorrow, we've got VVIP coming in tomorrow. And this time company had become corporate, and we were also, you know, a public as well. So we had respective shareholders that would come and see, is this training academy worth the money that it's meant to be costing? And so I often did have audience, because I was the #1 trainer. They would say, could you do like a communication day? But in this particular case, do you link it to doing hair? Because we have VIPs coming in. And use the QE2, don't say anything about selling. Just keep it to service. Keep it service. And I went, okay. Could you be attached? That's strange. Because I did black watch tab suit. I thought, oh, yeah. Oh, and could you get your hair up? Because I had long hair then. Yeah. Hated my hair up. All right. So, and then it came, so actually nobody appeared. And then halfway through the morning, these 2 ladies appeared and just came in. I never stopped talking. I just kept carrying on, doing what I was doing, presenting. And they sat up the back and whatever it may be, and they sat there. And I did my thing for about another 2 hours. I felt I had to keep talking now that they were in. And then the best thing was, we had a break. But I smoked at the time, and I was gagging for a fag, right? And I was like that. Oh, so me and my pal Julie were going out the back for a cigarette, right? I got the cigarette out the packet, right? And then my buzzer went. My buzzer went. I didn't have a draw in my cigarette. Right? And so I went, I better go up. The office is wanting me. So I went up to the office, and who's sitting in the office, right? These two ladies, yeah? With Mr. Robert Chaveron and Vicky Chaveron. I went, oh, hello. And she went, we're so sorry for being late. She found you very amusing. It's just that I've heard a lot about you from Mr. Charles. And I was like that, Mr. Charles? I went, oh, the hairdresser. Echo. I went, oh, the hairdresser. And they were like that, yes. And she was like that. And she went, my name is Angela Kelly. I'm the Queen's PA. I went, oh, are you? I went, oh, that's nice.
That word again.
And for some bizarre reason, I had no idea what they were coming to me for. Because I was thinking about it was my fag. And I was like that, oh. And, you know, and this is Carol, who was her assistant. I went, oh, pleased to meet you. Take a seat. And he went, oh, I've heard so much about you through Mr. Charles. And right away, he says, oh, we'll just cut to the chase, basically. And we just wondered if, you know, and he speaks highly of you, and we just wondered if you would be interested in looking after Her Majesty's hair. And I went, oh. Like it's about helium. I went, oh. And I went, yeah. Yeah. And then she says, well, you know, we'll get some information from you, and we'll find out, you know, when Mr. Charles is available, when you're available, so you can go and see and have it done, so you can meet Her Majesty, whatever it may be. I went, that'd be lovely. Be lovely. And so she took my details and went, I just don't say anything to anybody at this particular moment until everything's done, because we have to, well, these things being vetted, wouldn't they? In case my dad was some, you know, Fred West or something, you know. And so Fred and Rose, you know. And so I was like that, oh. So I goes away, and Julie's like that, what do you want you for? I went, I can't tell you. Well, I'm rubbish at code. My face was purple, I was very excitement, and I was like hyper there, like that. Oh. I went, oh my God, I could feel myself getting a bit teary. I went, oh goodness. So anyway, we goes for a drink that night. I wasn't going to say nothing. I thought, I need to phone my mum. She wasn't in. She was at a pal Wheater's. And it's my dad that answered the phone. Hello. I mean, hiya Dad, it's me. I mean, listen, I phoned you for the pub. I just wanted to tell you, that people came in today and seen me, and they wanted to know if I wanted to do the Queen's hair. I went, what Queen? I went, Queen Elizabeth. And they went, what, you? I went, yeah. Me? They went, how the bloody hell did you get that job? I went, because I'm actually quite good, believe it or not, right? And he says, well, I'm going to tell you something, because he calls me John Boy, you see. He thinks I look like John Boy Walton because I had dungarees and I've got a mole, right? And he went, I'm going to tell you something, John Boy. I went, oh, I thought he was going to say, well done to you. All your, your salons, your stones, all your travels, and now it's all happening. He went, you better keep that bloody mouth to your shop. Thank you, Dad. What time's my mum in? 8 o'clock.
That was your.
That was it.
That was your protocol. So when you did go and do it the first time, did you have to get taken through it, or did you just do it yourself?
No, I got a phone call. I got a phone call, right, to say, oh, Mr. Charles has got emphysema and is actually being hospitalised at this particular moment. Is there any way at all possible that you could go yourself? Well, I wasn't going to give up the chance, wasn't I? But I thought, God, it's like jumping off a mountain.
Oh, so he was supposed to take you through it?
Yeah, to take me through it. So I thought, so of course I'm not going to say, no, I'll wait on Mr. Charles, he could die. They're going to shot. So I was like that. I went, yes, of course. Of course. That wouldn't be a problem at all. Now, would you know what to do? I went, yes. And so I thought, where am I going? I mean, I was like, the next day, I went, where am I going to get information about the Queen's hair? How the hell am I going to find out anything about the Queen's hair? So I found that. I went, well, I'll just try and copy that.
And that was it. So, you did. So what was it like when you first did it? The first time?
Oh my God, it was like underwater. I never break, I just kept going. She must have looked at me as if it was super weak. I just went. And then back in again for more.
And then it obviously must have gone well.
Well, she says splendid.
That was it, she didn't give much away.
Oh, I thought she would have given me more than that. The splendid was fine.
How long did you have to wait before they give you the, you got
Well, I had to go next week. Next week was hair. Then she says, "Oh, could you cut it next week?" I went, "Yeah." "And do you perm?" "Yeah." "Could you come to India?" "Yeah." "You've worked with tiaras before?" "Yeah." "Yeah, I've done a lot of tiara work." So it must have taken me about a whole year to settle down before I looked at the mantelpiece. I couldn't take my head off it. I was petrified because I thought, you know, I'd watched too many James Bond films and I thought there was cameras on me. I thought, I'm being watched every single movie. Obviously, there wouldn't be a camera in a bathroom. But I didn't know that.
and you just did it.
And I did it for 3 years for the company, and then I decided to leave the company, and she asked if it would be possible if I could look after her personally. I said I'd be highly honored.
And then you went freelance.
And that was it. Yeah.
And how long have you done hair for now?
21 years.
21 years. And you got your MVO a couple of years ago?
Last year.
Which is that service?
And a Royal One 2007.
The MVO is something you only get if you've got a personal relationship.
Yeah. I got the MVO through longevity of service. You need to do 20 years. So it's called a member of the Royal Victorian Order, and it was first given by Queen Victoria to her long-serving servants, or whoever it may be, and it's been carried on from there. But it's still a medal. It's still a big thing. Yeah. I'm not a lady.
Oh, then.
Well, and I look like a dame.
So
sometimes I talk like a dame. Never walk like one.
One thing that I thought, obviously, you know, looking after 120 cruise ships, the QE2, obviously the Queen's hairdresser, then at that point in the career, most people would think, well, I'm pretty, I've achieved what I'm going to achieve. So I thought, one thing I thought when I first met you and I found out all that, I thought that after all this, it's quite interesting that then you still decided to join Trevor and take on the challenge of taking a step back almost and becoming a trainee for a little bit as a varderer and doing all your education and passing your final test. Like, you took on that mammoth task, which I don't think many people in that position would have done. Like, what? I don't actually know the answer to this question. What are the reasons? Why did you do that?
I don't know the answer. Quite unbelievable. I don't know if it was definitely more than transitional. I mean, I always have been highly respected this man for many, many years. Not just the fact that he's Scottish, but the fact he's a very, very talented hairdresser and iconic. And it's great to be part of that, but I didn't come in as a hairdresser. I came in as a product ambassador, working alongside Carol and Boots the Chemist and doing some training of product knowledge and things, because not that I wasn't a good hairdresser, not that I just felt I kind of been out of hairdressing, but my forte was the sales, the communication, that sort of thing. But it wasn't until I came into the salon and I started to kind of pick up the vibe and the passion and all the stuff. It just kind of reignited this natural thing that I had inside me to do. And it was a bit like, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. And I remember Trevor saying to me, are you sure this is what you want to do? Because I was no chicken. I was slightly older by then. And the very thought of, going and standing in the streets and getting models, and it's a bit daunting, and it's the rejection aspect of it all. But thank God, I had some organisation skills, and I had done a lot of growth, with Steiner, and, emotional stuff on my own. So I could deal with rejection of people saying no thank you to me in the street for trying to get models. I could deal with that. But what I couldn't deal with was the sole concentration of having to start from the very beginning again. Because that's what I felt I was doing.
What was that?
Oh my God, yeah, from the very, very beginning. And it made me think, did I ever have any training? Did I ever train anywhere else if this is what training's all about? Do you understand what I mean?
I think everyone's probably felt like that.
Wow. And then I started to doubt myself. Should I ever be a hairdresser? I spent 3 hours doing my long layers. I used to do half-an-hour appointments. Should I ever really be a hairdresser? Should I just give it up and go and work in Tesco's? I was like, no. If anybody else can do it, you can do it. Just find somebody who you compare yourself with, and you'll be fine. Yeah, find a comparison. That's what I used to do all my life. When I sat my driving test, my driving lessons. I used to go in at the back of a 80-year-old woman. I thought, if she can do it, I can bloody do it. I was sweating buckets, take my time. And she'd come out shaking like a dog pooing. I'm like, shaking going in. But I thought, I'll be fine. And so I thought, no, I'll do it. I can only do it my best shot. But I did the silliest thing because I had a holiday booked. And I wanted to get it done and dusted before I went on holiday. And Trevor had said to me, do you want to just maybe leave until you come back? I went, oh, no. No, weight's already fallen off. That's me just doing the battering. I went, oh no, I couldn't wait any longer because I was touching the nervous breakdown. I went, no. I could feel my hair falling out of the handful. I'm going to be bald as I could, thin as a rake by the time I got out here. So anyway, I went, no, I'm going to do it. And I done it.
What, do you remember your testing?
Yeah. I remember every haircut day. Yeah. It was painstaking, but exhilarating when it was saying, yes, that's it. It was great. But I'm haunted when I go on board on the tubes and I start looking at people's neckline. I go, she'd be a nice graduated Bob. Well, there's a short ledge. I don't identify anybody in pubs any longer. I just see them as short layers. I think I've lost my mind somewhere along the line.
Well, I think it's great to work somewhere like this because no matter what age you are, how long you've been hairdressing, working somewhere like this around people of all different ages, it keeps not just the person young, but the work young as well, doesn't it? It keeps the work relevant because you're constantly seeing other people. It's not kind of working on
I had the ability. I didn't do a lot of talking. And a lot of people say, you're all right. I'm actually all right just because I'm not talking. I'm still breathing. Because I needed to concentrate. And I needed just to get it done.
So after you passed your test, was this around the time you started TV work? Was it in front of the camera or behind the camera?
Oh, I wouldn't go behind the camera. I'm too attention seeking for that. Behind the camera, no. My God. No, right in front of the camera.
So you was performing to the camera doing that?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It was that was like with my television work.
Yeah.
My television work was very exciting. I had 2 ladies.
What did you do that for?
2 ladettes to ladies Oz. So they brought Australian girls over. Common girls, right? And I was even scared from them. And I know they were working to the camera, but the time I got there, they wanted the whole psychology thing of it. They wanted to interview them. They wanted so-and-so and really get them crying, get them really, get the stuff out of them, And we were encouraged to do that. A bit of a transformation. It's like a finishing school, We want things like Rosemary Schneider and all this, and all these hoops and all this. And it was quite fun.
I remember the TV in front of camera.
It's long days. It's long
repetitive
days.
Repeating the same thing?
Yeah, it can be. And I'm not very good at repeating myself because I'm not good at reading a script. And so if they was to say to me, could you just go back to when you spoke of so-and-so? I'll go, did I speak of so-and-so? I can't remember anything, because the nerves get the better of me, and I end up like some budgie on crack, and I don't know what I've just said. And I go, did I say that? And I go, yes, you started off with saying. And I go, I can't even remember that. You know, so it is difficult where that's concerned.
And how long have you been in the company with trucks?
I joined 2004, and I left for 3 years, and I came back 5 years ago.
So with, obviously, you've owned your own salon, and you've been in charge of 120 cruise ships, you'd say, headed up the training academy of the world's most famous client. And you've worked here for 15 years. So what does the future hold?
You know, the future holds for
Because I don't think you're going to be slowing down. If judging by the rest of your career, where you've constantly challenged, branched out, taken a new project on,
it doesn't
seem like you're
kind of
someone
scares me, because, you know, I never thought it would take as long to get to where I am now. You know, there's not really an awful lot of years left, isn't there? You know, but so I just have to think to myself, you know, that things will change when the Queen snuffs in. You know what I mean?
Good job, this is a private.
Sorry, let me reframe that, please, for the people abroad. Yeah, things will change drastically when Her Majesty the Queen passes. What's the future?
Yeah.
Do you know? I can think to myself, you know, I'm always learning. Always learning. If I'm not reading books on self, on self growth, or I'm always learning something. And I would like to think, which is I've always been interested. I've always been interested in the whole science of air. I don't very much go down the stages of ecology, because I don't know if I've got really, you know, the passion enough to do the whole course, to be an ecologist. And would I really want to work along the street somewhere and be a tricologist? I'd like to be very, very much, so I could understand a little bit more about this and hair loss and psoriasis and because I think I have always had a problem that always I think like there's something missing in these stuff. I feel I should know more. And that's my thing, so that I can deliver that information to the client. And I think, you know, that's kind of what I like to do. Education has always been a great thing. I often ask people still today, cruise ships, you know, if I want to do some kind of motivational seminars. It's definitely motivate people. It's a quite a difficult job to do, and it does really need me. And I think it's because I don't know the people that I'm dealing with a lot of time. But yeah, that's kind of where I think I'd like to be. I still don't feel I feel I'm just barely out of puberty. I don't really feel that I've actually grown up yet. I mean, I know I'm 50 right now. I will be 59 this year, and I'm getting to the 60 mark. But I still don't feel mature yet. And I'd wonder if I'll ever be mature. Or maybe I'll just start going back the way I'd end up the full shilling. You know, which is quite nice. Yeah. Although I don't think Benjamin Button know at this stage. I mean, he'd end up like Benjamin Button.
So I would think to finish off, I would say, and I'm going to do this with every guest. Like, if you could speak to any hairdresser of any age that is wants to progress or wants to challenge themselves, whether it's they want to take on a new project, or they want to open a salon, or they want to get promoted within this company, or whatever they want to do, with all your advice, all your experience, and all your knowledge and your skills over the years, what would you say to them? Because it seems like you've set a target, reached it, set yourself a target, reached it, but not everyone knows how to put one foot in front of the other to do that. So what advice would you give to those people? So, yeah.
I would say the advice that I would give, you know, because I'm going to be very vain today talking of me, is be vain. You know, be vain. Do it for yourself. Don't ever stop learning. Keep developing. Don't get complacent. I think complacency in some cases kind of falls in a category of like an illness in some cases, where people start to feel a bit depressed when they're doing the same things over and over again but expecting different results. I think, and complacency is where I feel you've stopped. And I think it's important that you kind of keep that momentum going. Don't expect everybody to help you. I think it's important that you help yourself, because there's a lot of the things that I've done that is not actually, there's not a person that sat and gave me that information. I went out there and got it. And that's been from everything right down to my product knowledge. Why should I sit in a product knowledge class when the baby Jesus has already put all the information on the bottle? It tells you in the front of the bottle what it is. It tells you in the back what it does. It tells you further down how to use it. Anybody with the right mind will take the lid off it and smell it. And if you've got any experience at all in hairdressing, you'll know that it's already been made for that hair type. And I think, by learning, I learned most of all my products and all my treatments by learning them myself, by going out there and discovering it myself. Yeah? And so that's what I would say. And in that way, you've got no excuses to say they never told me. Yeah? Because it's your own fault.
And that is as good a place as any to
I need a drink now.
Shall I say bye to your tens of followers around the world?
I shouldn't say that. Oh, thank you very much to everyone for listening. Yeah, take care, and maybe one day I'll see each and every one of you. Take care. Happy New Year.